Bees, fixing my jacket because I need to go out. But I'm listening to something very interesting, so I decided to share it with you. Let me know what you think. All right, it's of course about Africans and African Americans. I found it very interesting.
My first trip to Africa was to Dakar, Senegal, and I was 20 years old, maybe 19 or 20. I went as part of an exchange program through Sister Cities International. And so I went by myself. I was actually the only person from DC who went to Dakar. And I was received very warmly. I lived with family, and I was supposed to have a job. It never really materialized. I was kind of sitting there. But I had a wonderful experience. I'll tell you that the one thing I remember vividly is when I was riding from the airport to the home where I was staying, I saw people carrying things on their heads.
We still do.
Bags, bundles, buckets, everything.
We
on
do.
Their heads.
We still do.
And I had thought that was a negative stereotype. I thought when we saw those images, it was a degrading, that they were making that up to show us in a negative light, when in fact that's the reality.
Well, that is the reality. Even myself, when I was, even when I'm back home, even when I go to the village and everything, I'll be carrying, a bucket of water, bag, whatever I can put on my head. I do that, like, without, it's just normal like that.
How people move around. That's how they move their things. We carry them on our shoulders and on our backs. They carry them on their heads, and they stand very tall and regal, and it's beautiful.
Yes.
So I felt great. The other caveat to that, though, is that I spent a lot of time with college students that I had met when I was in school in France prior. So I felt accepted because these were my friends that I had made before. The next time I traveled to the continent was 25 years, 30 years later, something like, no, not 30 years, 25 years later. And that was an equally as enlightening experience. This time I went with 50 black folks who we had traced to the country of Cameroon for their ancestry. We all went to Cameroon. And that felt like the whole country was just one big welcome wagon.
Wow.
They were very excited for us to be there. They followed us in the media, so whenever the next place we were going, they knew we were coming. And everybody was gracious, and they just kept saying, "You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome." So of course there are going to be some Africans that have a negative perspective of African Americans, just like there are plenty of African Americans who have a negative perspective of Africa. And I'll tell you, that's just part of the master plan. Just like we're fed negative images of them, they're fed negative images of us. True. There's so much power that's possible in our reconnecting, that the people in power, the colonial powers, the colonizers, the white supremacists, whatever you want to call them, it's in their best interest for us to stay divided. And so, as a result, they're going to stoke those flames of ignorance and lack of understanding between us. So when people say, well, Africans don't like us, I say that's hogwash.
Thank you.
They have a lot of slave owners.
Thank you.